aerial system. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Daines.
Chairman, thank you. Just earlier this month, the Cottonwood Environmental Law Center filed yet another notice of intent to sue the Forest Service based on consultation requirements established by the Ninth Circuit Cottonwood decision. The notice of intent demands the agency reinitiate consultation on the Northern Rockies Links Amendments, which covers 18 national forests and site-specific projects, many of which have already recently gone through reconsultation. I want to thank Chairman Manchin and the members of this committee for supporting my legislation, which would stop this very abuse by bad faith actors in the courts by codifying the position taken by the Obama Department of Justice. The Forest Service has previously testified on the workload and litigation risks that await us if Congress does not address this issue before the end of the year. And that's why I continue to believe any comprehensive environmental permitting bill must also include my bill that passed from this committee with strong bipartisan support, 16-4. Mr. Chairman, I know that you and Senator Capito are both eager to negotiate a bipartisan permitting bill that's considered as a standalone bill, or perhaps adding it to the annual national defense measure. I will tell you, if my Cottonwood fix were included as part of permitting reform in that bipartisan agreement, you're likely going to have my support. This provision is a critical first step to improving forest management. As we think about permitting, it comes in a lot of different forms. The Cottonwood fix is one of those. Sustainable forest management creates sustainable rural economies. It leads to more carbon sequestration, important mitigation strategies that relate to warmer summers and longer fire seasons, healthier watersheds and air, and productive wildlife habitat. Better forest management can also help Montana's housing shortage. At one time, nearly 1/4 of all new U.S. homes were built with lumber harvested from national forests, but now that number is actually closer to zero. We have to do more to manage our forests, or our forests are going to continue to manage us. And that's why I've authored 2 bipartisan forest management bills that have already passed this committee. And I call on my colleagues to enact these common sense policies before the end of the year. Switching gears for a moment, Montana's Job Corps, these centers help train and prepare young Montanans to enter the workforce. In fact, in 2019, I was very glad to lead the fight in Congress to keep these centers open, serving our students and our communities. But now, Congress and the Forest Service must work together to ensure these centers are the best they can be. The Civilian Conservation Center Enhancement Act does just this by expanding the forestry curriculum, ensuring that graduates have a pipeline of fulfilling careers, and granting the Forest Service more flexibility in the day-to-day operation of the centers. This bill has the support of several organizations, and I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to enter these letters of support into the record.
Without objection.
The Anaconda and Trapper Creek Job Corps centers have already been seen successes in applying many of these same principles and goals are contained in this bill. I'm proud to support their ongoing efforts. I visited them. They're great operations. I'm excited to see this success replicated in other centers across the country. Mr. Crockett, labor shortages are one of the top issues I hear about all across our state in Montana. How would my bill assist in establishing a pipeline of workers for the wood products sector?
So thank you for the question, and thank you for your prior advocacy and current advocacy for those centers. So this bill would provide a pipeline for the CCC centers to have a direct pipeline into the Forest Service. Really do like the direct hire authority that's in there because that gives us the ability to go, the student to go directly from the center into employment with the Forest Service. So we do support it. Thank you.
Thanks for that support. Thanks for your comments. Mr. Crockett, as you know, the lack of affordable housing is another contributing factor to labor issues we're seeing across this country, and more specifically in Montana. In fact, according to a Forest to Market report, at one time, nearly 1/4 of all new U.S. homes were built with lumber harvested from national forests. Today, that number is close to zero. At the end of the third quarter, Region 1's timber harvest was nearly 40% lower than it was at the same time last year. And last year, by the way, the Region 1 missed its timber volume target by around 30%. These downward trends are coming on the heels of Congress providing the Forest Service with unprecedented funding and new authorities. Mr. Crockett, what is the Forest Service doing to correct these significant declining trends and restore the health of our forests and, importantly, our wood product sector?
So thank you for the question. And we do agree that having a balanced timber supply is vitally important for the industry in the area. So with the new funding that's been put in place through bill and through IRA, we feel like that those resources are going to help us stabilize and have that balanced flow of volume to the local mills in Region 1.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I know I'm in the extra range. I just have a final statement, and then I'll be finished. In contrast to the trends we've seen in our national forests, I will tell you our governor of Montana, Governor Gianforte, has doubled the amount of acres treated under Good Neighbor Authority in just 1 year. And our state timberlands continue to be healthy, productive, and sustainable. It's such a contrast from our state lands to our federal lands back home. It's unreasonable to me, therefore, the Forest Service has not prioritized allocating Good Neighbor Authority funds to states, and Montana wasn't asked for input on the GNA project that did receive funding. This contradicts the very principles that we have made GNA successful to date. Mr. Chairman, I'm out of time here, so I'll respect that. And
Well, thank you, Senator. We
back to you, yeah.
appreciate that.